Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here for another one of our special signings for two of our Kirtland athletes going to take their skills to the next level. I'd like to welcome you guys to the nest for today's college signing ceremony. Two of Kirtland's finest wrestlers. A third, Anthony Gencarelli, already has signed to continue his education and wrestling career at West Liberty State University. But today, Will Davidson will sign with John Carroll, and Brennon Braud will take his talents to the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island. Both Will and Brennan were four-year starters with a long list of accomplishments and accolades, and both reached the 100-win marker this past winter. As a senior, Will recorded a 40-4 record and a second straight appearance at the state wrestling tournament. Although he didn't place this winter, Will was among the top-ranked wrestlers all season long. He placed third in the state as a junior, finishing that season with a 33-5 record. Will closed out his career with two sectional titles, two district titles, 3 appearances at the district tournament, and 2 trips to Columbus. He also was named a first-team All-News Herald All-Star this winter. Placed third in the Chagrin Valley Conference as a sophomore and won the league title as a senior. Brennon closed out his career with a record of 106-50 with 4 trips to the district tournament and 1 to the state tournament. As a senior, he was 40-7, despite another late start due to football teams running the state title game. Brennan was 25-11 as a junior, and he earned a trip to Columbus that season. This winter, Brennan earned second-team All-News Herald honors and also placed second in the CBC to eventual state champion Lucas Stoddard of Berkshire. Brennan was a 3-time all-conference performer as he placed third as a freshman and 6th as a sophomore. Now, before we move on to the signing, I would like to give their coach, Coach Francis, an opportunity to speak about these two fine young men. And he laughs as I say fine young men.
Very fine. But just to add on to, I'm not going to go through the high school accolades they here, but just what they did in the off season also. Wrestling freestyle Greco-Roman. Ohio always puts together a very fine team, like the best wrestlers in the nation. And this past year, Brennan he qualified both freestyle and Greco-Roman style wrestling, which is the type of wrestling they do in the Olympics for Team Ohio. And Will was a 2-time qualifier for the freestyle team. And to get on those teams, I mean, you've got to be top 3 in the state. I believe that's what they take down there, maybe a few extras. But to get on those teams, it's a big honor. It's the big schools in the state that are sending their kids to that. And we had 2 guys going down this past year. And when they say going down, they had to go all the way out to Fargo, North Dakota to wrestle in the tournament. Real big honor to be on that team, to be out there wrestling. But as far as all year long, I keep getting asked questions about these guys, and Anthony, and other seniors also. And they'd ask me questions about one of them, then they'd ask me questions about another one, and it seemed like I was always giving the same answer. So eventually I got to the point where I say, okay, what I say about one, I'm saying about all of them, because that's exactly what's true about all these guys. And that was great about having, the 3 captains we had with Anthony, Will, and Brennan, is they put in a lot of time into the sport. And when I say a lot of time into wrestling, it becomes a lifestyle for you. Anthony started at a young age. What age did you start at?
I think I started in first grade.
First grade. Brennan started when they brought him home from the hospital, pretty much. Okay. Will started in 7th grade. They put a lot of time into this, and it wasn't just the 4 months out of the season. If you're putting just the 4 months of the season of wrestling, you'll get something out of it. It makes you a better person. But when you do this year-round, and it's your lifestyle, and it's what you do when people aren't looking, also. There was times where I saw these guys working out. They didn't realize that I was there and I'd seen them. They'd be down in the wrestling room, and I'd peek in. I'd see them in there working out. And when I see them putting that time in, or just even out in the football field, getting workouts out there with other wrestlers from around the area, the time they were putting in on Sundays, coming in when we wouldn't have practice. Probably the thing that probably hit me the most is when these guys were freshmen. And they said, "What time is practice on Saturday, Coach?" They said, "Well, we're not practicing this Saturday." And they went, "Aw, really?" They were truly disappointed that we were not having a Saturday practice. And that's what really opened up my eyes to what we had coming through for the past 4 years with them. And I knew we had something truly special. Last year when we made, this year when we were at the state dual meet tournament, that's because of what these guys accomplished at districts their junior year. But the example that they set for these other guys so that they can see this is what it takes to be a successful wrestler. That it's not just what you do when you come into our wrestling room for 2 hours a day. It's what you do in the months outside of November to March. It's what you do outside of the hours from 3 to 5 at practice. I mean, it's how you live your life also. If you're out there making bad choices in your life, you're not going to be successful. Yeah, and these guys, they really lived up to that, and we're really going to miss not having those three around with that example. But it also opens up the door for other guys to step in and take their place and say, I'm going to be that type of person, and that's what I'm going to do for this team. But for years to come, these guys are going to be able to look back and see these guys right here and what they become as wrestlers, and they're going to know that they were part of it, and what they did is what helped them become the people and the wrestlers that they are in the future.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks. Hey, every one of us here are very proud of you guys. Your parents, your coaches, classmates, teammates. But I'd like to ask you now is, Brennan, you can go first. So what does signing mean to you to take your career to the next level?
I don't know, it just means the goal I've been working for my entire life since I started wrestling. It's just what I've always wanted to do. And that's why I started wrestling.
That's awesome. So many kids don't get to do what you're getting to do. Will, how about you?
When I first started wrestling, I really had no idea that I ever wanted to go to college and wrestle. It was just something that popped up my freshman year. I quit football, said I was done with it, and I committed myself to wrestling all year round. And I think that's definitely what got me to here today. And all the times I struggled got me to this point.
Mr. and Mrs. Braud, is there anything you'd like to say as far as, to the boys in the background, or what this whole experience means to either one of you that your son's going to...
Yeah, I'm actually going to start with Will. I saw Will come on the mat when he was in 7th grade and my jaw hit the floor. I knew the kid would be good 10 minutes after watching him wrestle. He stepped in and was where Brennon was after wrestling since he was 4. So I've been impressed since he started. As for my son, I'm immensely proud. I mean, I was a U.S. Marine, and I just didn't have what it took to be an officer, at least not at 17. So he's got a long journey ahead. It's going to be tough. There are going to be days that he's going to want to quit. And I don't think he will, but he's going to wish he would.
That's great. Anything you'd like to say without crying? Or you could go ahead and cry.
I'm just so very proud of both of them.
That's awesome. Mr. Davidson?
Just very proud of Will, not only what he did on the wrestling mat. I mean, when you say put in extra time, he really did. Driving to Lakewood, Jim and I take him to Lakewood, practices a couple times a week, and all the extra stuff he did, not only on the wrestling mat, but in the weight room and in the classroom as well. He really stepped forward here the last few years. He really worked hard and did show.
Unfortunately, his mom wasn't able to be here, but his stepfather, Mr. Davis, is there anything you'd like to say to the boys?
No, just extremely proud of them. I think the camaraderie that all these kids have here is really special. It's gonna form them for down the road in the future.
Well, I think if we'd all give them a great big round of applause. Now get your cameras out and focus in as they're going to actually sign their letter of intent. If both of you guys would take the time to sign your names on the dotted line here.
Will won't be an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Very fine.
Oh, yeah.
One more round of applause here. Don't leave yet. Mr. Hare has a few questions for the boys. He always has some good ones.
Will, I'll start with you. 4 years ago, I remember covering you as a freshman. You were 80, 85 pound, 106 pounder, giving up 20, 25 pounds. Took some lumps that season, still had a good year, but then it just, the bug hit you and you realized that's what you want to do. What was it that led you to work so hard and develop into the great wrestler you became?
So I remember my freshman year, I just lost out of districts. I remember texting my dad and my mom and be like, I gotta get bigger, I gotta get stronger. I'm tired of being small, I'm tired of losing. So after that season, I started eating, lots of food. And then I got in the weight room. I started practicing a bunch. I kept going down to the wrestling factory. Then the next year, I didn't end up wrestling because I got concussion, so that pretty much sucked. But it worked out because I gained 30 pounds. And next year, after my junior year, I got third, and I finally was able to accomplish what I wanted. I wanted to compete with the best in the state, and that's what I did.
When you look back on your high school career, what's the thing you're going to remember most?
It's probably being with Brennon, and Reed, my seniors on the team. They're like my brothers. I can't imagine life without them. They're my best friends, and they're part of my family. And I couldn't have gotten where I am without them today.
What kind of advice do you leave behind for the guys behind you and other future Kirtland wrestlers?
Stick with it. I think what makes Kirtland special is that we have like a brotherhood. Not many people want to come out for wrestling because they know it's hard, and they always insult it. But it's the hardest sport, in my opinion, and I think that's what's going to make people bond on the team. So.
Brennon, wrestling, it takes a full-time commitment, as Coach kind of mentioned. It's, you can get by with the 4 months of the season and have a good career, but to be really great, you have to do it year-long, like Coach said. And the Naval Academy is going to be the same way, so a lot of commitment there. What led you there? I mean, was that something you always hoped to do, is go to the Naval Academy?
I mean, since I was a little kid, I just knew I wanted to be just like my dad, be a Marine. But my dad always told me, don't be an enlisted Marine, be an officer. So I always asked, how do I do that? Or how do I fly a plane? Or how do I fly a helicopter? And he goes, well, there's a few ways. There's the Naval Academy, and there's NROTC. I was like, what's the Naval Academy? And he tells me that it's a place where Navy and Marine Corps officers go to school. It's a regular college. They play sports. And I was just in awe with it. I was like, that's where I want to go. That's where I set my sights on since I was 5th-ish grade, and I was like, that's my ultimate goal. And well, I achieved that. But now I still got to keep going. The job's not done yet. Got to get through the next 4 years. Yeah.
Wrestling in college in general is just going to be very difficult. You lump on the military aspect of it, and you're going to be pushed, beyond your wildest dreams. How ready are you for that?
As ready as I can be. You really can't be ready for what is coming. There's just can't really tell what's coming. So.
There was another Kirtland wrestler that became a Navy diver. Have you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him recently, but yeah, he loved the Navy, he loved diving, but yeah, I haven't talked to him since I was in 7th grade-ish. Yeah.
Right. And then just lastly, again, what kind of advice do you leave behind for the guys behind you?
Some days it's gonna suck. You're gonna wanna quit. You're not gonna come back, but the memories you make and all the fun you have just hanging out with your buddies, it's gonna be amazing, and you'll never forget it for the rest of your life.
All right, thanks, guys, and congrats to you both.
Thank you.
One last round of applause, please.